dozens and dozens of essays from my friends, my colleagues, and my students who did not pass the bar the first time. And there are just certain patterns I've seen, and I want to make sure that you are aware of that before you, I would say, dive headfirst into your studies. Because I see a lot of students who come to me who need to take the exam a third or a fourth time. I wish they had come to me earlier, because I think they just repeated the same habits that first time without going to anybody for help. Or maybe going to the right people for help. I'm not quite sure. But first off, it's making sure that you have, I guess, someone who's done this before to actually take a look at your exams and give you an idea of what can be improved. So being able to ask for that help, I think, is number one. Y'all are already doing that. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. Second is not writing enough. I know a lot of students who just did not write enough essays the first time they did it. I think because they were afraid. Straight up, I think they were afraid of failure. They didn't want to write an essay because, oh, I just don't know the law yet. I need to study the law more, or I need to read some more of those model answers and kind of memorize it that way before I can write an exam. Because they're concerned that if they just started writing an essay without really knowing the law, they wouldn't be able to write a full answer. And my response to that is that is probably the worst thing you could do, is not write essays. Now, I know some of you on the call might have done pretty well on the essay portions. Maybe MBE's your top priority. That's cool if that's what you need to work on. Most of the students that I work with need help with essays and performance tests. And with those, you just need to write more. And it's the same issues that pop up. You need to get accustomed to failure, to taking an exam and not exactly knowing what's going to happen. But by doing that, you force yourself to realize which laws, which issues you already know, and which ones you had no idea existed. And by doing that, you will only be practicing and getting better. And the reason why I'd asked that question earlier, would you like to be an athlete or an artist, is because there are no masters ever became who they were without failure. You know, there are very few superstars out there who are just inherently the best at what they are. And you know, I can give you quotes and names later, but I want you to kind of think about this entire experience as a constant set of I'd say humbling failures that only teach you to become stronger and stronger, so that by the very end, maybe the final 2 weeks of your bar exam prep, you're going to be solid and you're going to be really good at everything, because you picked yourself up again and figured out what you need to do better, especially concerning the essays. Another quote I want to give is this one: failure happens all the time. It happens every day in practice. What makes you better is how you react to it. And that is a quote from Mia Hamm, the American soccer player that I mentioned earlier. Failure is what you're going to be doing for the next 6-7 weeks. Every time you take an essay, you're basically going to fail it. But this is practice, so it doesn't really count as a failure. So, you know, Mia Hamm, she goes out on the soccer field and she plays with, or she practices with all of her teammates. And yes, she fails a bunch of times. She misses goals. You know, she lets defenders get by her. But it's practice. And by doing all that practice, she hones the skills and gets better, so that on the day of the actual game, she can kick ass and bring home the goal. And that's what you're doing right now. You're practicing, and you're exercising, and you're building up endurance. You're honing your strategies, so that on the day of the bar exam, you're going to go out there and you're going to kick some major ass. And finally, I want to share one of my favorite videos of all time, which Hold on. Hopefully this will actually work. Cool. This is again the same thing I was talking about.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
Okay, I think it's pretty simple why I like that. In my own personal life, I have failed many times. I had very low self-esteem growing up. I was very obese. I weighed over 220 pounds at one time, and I was very depressed, and I hated my life. And I was just always thought I was going to be a loser forever. And it took me a long time for me to build up self-confidence and to learn that I could achieve my goals. And I still failed many times, miserably, over and over. It still happens to this day, where I screw things up and I just sit around and go, oh my gosh, I'm still a loser, what's wrong with me? But every one of those experiences is a learning experience, and they ultimately make you into a stronger and more capable, more accomplished human being. And I know you all will do the same. So let's put in some time, keep writing those essays. We'll have a one-on-one talk sometime this week. I sure hope so. Let's make sure our schedules work. But let's make sure you pass the bar. And just promise me that when you pass the bar exam, that you will go on to share your advice with others and ensure that we're helping other leaders and future public servants and community activists to be able to accomplish their dreams as well. So thanks again for joining, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a good night, y'all.
Good night, thank you.
You're welcome.